Okay, so this is the video that covers the month of Adar. So this upcoming month, the significance of this month, and just kind of like an overview of what's going on spiritually and according to different study schedules and such like that. But the takeaway that before you get away from this video, I want you to know is what empowers Amalek. What empowers Amalek? We need to know what empowers Amalek. Okay, so if we speak of the month in terms of the associated permutation of Hashem's name, for this month, we actually get that from the verse in Bereshit 49:11. It says, "He will tie his donkey to the vine branch his donkey's fowl. He will launder his garments in wine and his robe in the blood of grapes." So within that verse, there's the phrase "Iro velas reka beni atono." In the last letter of each of those four words is Hey, Yod, Vav. So it's a permutation of Hashem's name. So just keep that in mind, tying his donkey to the vine, okay? We're going to get back to that because this has to do with what empowers Amalek, or the opposite of that, actually. So if we look at the tribal association with the month of Adar, we see that it's Naphtali. So the tribal association is in such a way that whenever the encampment of the whole nation of Israel would move, each tribe would move in order, right? They leave in order, they move out in order. And the last tribe to move is Naphtali, right? So this is the last month in the year. The year starts over in Nisan, or Aviv, the biblical month of Aviv, where we have Pesach. The Torah specifically says this will be the beginning of months for you. So here we go. This is the last month of the year. Did we make our spiritual quota? Did we fulfill our spiritual quota? So keep this in mind. What empowers Amalek? So Naphtali. It's very interesting because in Likutei Moharan, the Rabbi Nachman, he teaches that Naphtali, rearrange the letters of the word, it spells what? Tefillin. Tefillin. What is tefillin? It is attaching yourself to Hashem, like spiritually and physically, right? Rashi says that the word is similar to the word for uftal tol, twisted, right? What does that make you think of? It actually makes you think of tzitzit. And then Menachem ibn Saruk associates the letter combination of Pei, Tav, and Lamed with the same letter combination found in patil, meaning fastening. So you fasten tzitzit on the side of the corners of your garments, and you fasten tefillin on your body, right? But that also, with the sound association, when you think of patil, we think of patil techelet, right? That phrase. So that's interesting because tzitzit and tefillin are two mitzvot that are literally symbolic in the sense that you're taking on the mitzvot, right? You're taking on the mitzvot. They represent the mitzvot in Torah, right? So, and actually, halakhically, putting on tefillin has a significant status change. So some people get a status change. Their status changes when they put on tefillin. It has the power to free. Okay, you can look that up. But anyway, so now that we see this, it's interesting to go and look at the history. So what happened in the desert? We have a mitzvah to remember and a mitzvah not to forget. What is it? What Amalek did to us on the way, right? And who would have been in the end? It would have been Naphtali. If he's in the end, Naphtali is associated with those in the back, and Amalek attacked in the back, right? Amalek doesn't attack front on. They attack you in the back. They go after the weak ones. But Naphtali is associated with being a swift tribe. So Rashi associates Naphtali with the midah of zirizut, or alacrity, being swift. And when we say swift, the first thing that comes to mind is be swift to do a mitzvah, right? And one mitzvah leads to another mitzvah. So here we go. We're supposed to be a light to the nations. One mitzvah is supposed to lead to another mitzvah. And it causes people around us to be inspired towards godliness and to want to connect to Hashem. That's what being a light to the nations is all about. But anyway, so now if we move on and we look, We're going to find out right now what empowers Amalek. So this month, in the Torah, we finished the book of Shemot, Exodus, and we build the tabernacle and everything like that, and all this stuff gets done. It's a very constructive aspect of the Torah that we end with the tabernacle, the Mishkan. But the other thing that's significant is that we go through the book of Sanhedrin, and we cover Sanhedrin 74 to 102. So this is interesting. This is very interesting, because what happens in Sanhedrin and towards the end of this month, this is very interesting. We find out what empowers Amalek. So it says in Sanhedrin 99b, and this is something to hold in your pocket. This is a very good one. So Menashe began by mocking a few verses and ultimately violated the entire Torah. The Gemara asks, with regard to the verse, to that verse that he came to discuss in any event, what is the significance of the phrase in the verse, quote, and Lotan's sister was Timnah? The Gemara explains, Timnah was the daughter of kings, as it is written, the chief of Lotan, Genesis 36:29, and the chief of Timnah, Genesis 36:40. And each chief is a member of a monarchy, albeit without a crown. That's interesting, because what do we see in the beginning of Megillat Esther? We see that it's an opening about this idea with the crown, right? Keter and Malchut, this combination, right? But anyway, so here we go. In the very next section here, it says, Timnah sought to convert. She came before Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and they did not accept her. She was denied 3 times. Some people think that converts are supposed to be denied 3 times, that it's a halacha to deny them 3 times. It is not. Actually, right here in Sanhedrin 99, it specifically tells us that you're not supposed to. It says, she went and became a concubine of Eliphaz, son of Esau, and said, referring to herself, it is preferable that she will be a maidservant for this nation, and she will not be a noble woman for another nation. Ultimately, Amalek, son of Eliphaz, emerged from her, and that tribe afflicted the Jewish people. What is the reason the Jewish people were punished by the suffering at the hand of Amalek? It is due to the fact that they should not have rejected her. It says that specifically, flat out. When she sought to convert, therefore the verse is significant. They should not have rejected her. There is no halacha to reject a convert 3 times. As a matter of fact, if you look in the Mishnah Torah, the Rambam brings down that conversions are actually supposed to be just like it was with Hillel, convert somebody on 1 foot, right? It's super easy. It's supposed to take like literally a day. And if you're a male, sometimes, if you have to wait for a male to heal, then it would take maybe a month. But not longer than that. Because earlier in Sanhedrin, what did we read not too long ago? That a nochri is prohibited from studying Torah. Why is a nochri prohibited from studying Torah? It's because somebody comes into the covenant the same way that Israel came into the covenant at Har Sinai. And that is Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and we will hear. You're supposed to take it upon yourself first before you hear what's in it. This is the way it's supposed to be, because that's the way it historically was. So you're not supposed to study for your conversion for 15 years or 5 years or 1 year and try it all out. It's supposed to be Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do and we will hear. Okay, you're supposed to take it upon yourself first and then you hear. Okay? And that's also the reason why the nochri was prohibited from observing Shabbat, is because Shabbat and Tefillin, as a matter of fact, are seen as things that are outward expressions of you taking upon yourself the mitzvot. So, you'll also find that the Rambam doesn't require the RCA to oversee your conversions. And there's no conversion papers, as a matter of fact, either, for someone to take away your conversion and say, well, we don't believe that you are sincere, so we're taking that away from you. That is not even that is actually a modern artifact of the politics of the day. It's absolutely disgusting. And that kind of stuff empowers Amalek. It empowers Amalek. It empowers Amalek for October 7th. It empowers Amalek to hold hostages for hundreds of days. It empowers Amalek to shoot missiles from Iran. It empowers Amalek to convince the spiritual power that it convinces people to take on these protests and support Palestinians that like murder babies and like brutally torture people and then send pictures back to their friends and family on their cell phones through their social media accounts of the people that they just brutalized. It's That's what empowers Amalek. It's this, Sanhedrin 99b. Call your local RCA right now and tell them that we need to open up the floodgates for converts. Why? Because that empowers B'nai Yisrael. It's not that you're supposed to go out and convert people like missionaries do, but you're supposed to be a light to the nations. And we see this now. We're in a time period now where people want to flock to Torah. Like the Noahide movement is never supposed to be this. It was never supposed to be this. It's not supposed to be something where you're like, oh, well, don't do this. Don't study Torah. Be a Noahide. No, it was like, oh, you wanted to be Jewish? Okay, well, this is what you have to do. You put them in the water, teach them a little bit of the light mitzvot and the heavy mitzvot. Immerse them. That's after they're circumcised if they're male, which could take a little while for them to heal. But aside from that, that's how you enter the covenant. So if you want to know what empowers Amalek, that's exactly what it is. That's the Kabbalah of conversion, right? That's the spiritual process of all of this. And this is something you're supposed to remember every single day of your life and not forget what Amalek did to you on the way. That means you're not supposed to prevent people from coming into the covenant with Hashem. So it all ties together. And we see also at the end of the book of Esther, Megillat Esther, and the end of chapter 8, it says, and many of the people of the land professed to be Jews. They became converts. And that's what helped overcome Amalek. We see that Haman was killed and all of his sons. And Haman, he was a high-level government official. And we see in here that the government officials frequently reviewed the history. He knew what his history was, the history of Timnah. He knew this. He knew that this empowers his people. He knew this. He wasn't stupid. That's why he picked the month of Adar, because the month of Adar, there's this spiritual quota. Did you do your job of being a light to the nations? Did you do your job, or did you prevent people from coming into the covenant? I'm sorry, but this is something that actually needs to be talked about, because there's so many people that are across the world that are attempted to be prevented, and oh, well, you're not a real convert. You're not a real convert. Oh, well, you have this type of conversion, or this person did your conversion. Oh, well, you're not a real convert. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, and it empowers Amalek. Okay, have a wonderful month.